Mount Fuji is located at a triple junction trench where the Amurian Plate, Okhotsk Plate, and Philippine Sea Plate meet. 40. 41. These three plates form the western part of Japan, the eastern part of Japan, and the Izu Peninsula respectively. 42. The Pacific Plate is being subducted beneath these plates, resulting in volcanic activity. Mount Fuji is also located near three island arcs: the southwestern Japan Arc, the northeastern Japan Arc, and the Isobonin Mariana Arc. 42. The Fuji Triple Junction is only 400 kilometers, 250 miles, from the Boso Triple Junction. Fuji's main crater is 780 meters, 2,560 feet, in diameter and 240 meters, 790 feet, deep. The bottom of the crater is 100 to 130 m, 330 to 430 feet, in diameter. Slope angles from the crater to a distance of 1.5 to 2 kilometers, 0.93 to 1.24 miles, are 31 to 35 degrees, the angle of repose for dry gravel. Beyond this distance, slope angles are about 27 degrees, which is caused by an increase in scoria. Mid-flank slope angles decrease from 23 degrees to less than 10 degrees in the Piedmont. 42. Crater with the 8 sacred peaks, Hashinpa. Scientists have identified 4 distinct phases of volcanic activity in the formation of Mount Fuji. The first phase, called syncomatake, is composed of an andesite core recently discovered deep within the mountain. Syncomatake was followed by the comatake Fuji, a basalt layer believed to be formed several 100,000 years ago. Approximately 100,000 years ago, Old Fuji was formed over the top of comatake Fuji. The modern, New Fuji, is believed to have formed over the top of Old Fuji around 10,000 years ago. 43. Pre-comatake started erupting in the Middle Pleistocene in an area 7 km, 4+1/2 mi, north of Mount Fuji. After a relatively short pause, eruptions began again which formed comatake volcano in the same location. These eruptions ended 100,000 years ago. Ashatake volcano was active from 400,000 to 100,000 years ago and is located 20 kilometers, 12 miles, southeast of Mount Fuji. Mount Fuji started erupting 100,000 years ago, with Ko-Fuji, Old Fuji, forming 100,000 to 17,000 years ago, but which is now almost completely buried. A large landslide on the southwest flank occurred about 18,000 years ago. Shin-Fuji, New Fuji, eruptions in the form of lava, lapilli, and volcanic ash have occurred between 17,000 and 8,000 years ago, between 7,000 and 3,500 years ago, and between 4,000 and 2,000 years ago. Flank eruptions, mostly in the form of parasitic cinder cones, ceased in 1707. The largest cone, Amuroyama, is one of more than 100 cones aligned NWSE and NESW through the summit. Mt Fuji also has more than 70 lava tunnels and extensive lava tree molds. 2 large landslides are at the head of the Yoshida-Osawa and Osawa-Kujur valleys. 42. As of December 2002, the volcano is classified as active with a low risk of eruption. The last recorded eruption was the Hoi eruption, which started on December 16, 1707, Hoi 4, 23rd day of the 11th month, and ended about January 1, 1708, Hoi 4, 9th day of the 12th month. 44. The eruption formed a new crater and a second peak, named Mount Hoi, halfway down its southeastern side. Fuji spewed cinders and ash which fell like rain in Izu, Kai, Sagami, and Musashi. 45. Since then, there have been no signs of an eruption. However, on the evening of March 15, 2011, there was a magnitude 6.2 earthquake at shallow depth a few kilometers from Mount Fuji on its southern side about 11,000 years ago. A large amount of lava began to erupt from the west side of the top of the ancient Fuji mountain. This lava formed the new Fuji, which is the main body of Mount Fuji. Since then, the tops of the ancient Fuji and the new Fuji are side by side. About 2,500 to 2,800 years ago, the top part of ancient Fuji caused a large-scale landslide due to weathering, and finally, only the top of Shin-Fuji remained. There are 10 known eruptions that can be traced to reliable records. Following the 2011 Tohoku earthquake, there was speculation in the media that the shock may induce volcanic unrest at Mount Fuji. In September 2012, mathematical models created by the National Research Institute for Earth Science and Disaster Prevention, NRISDP, suggested that the pressure in Mount Fuji's magma chamber could be 1.6 megapascals higher than it was before its last eruption in 1707. This was interpreted by some media outlets to mean that an eruption of Mount Fuji could be imminent. 57. However, since there is no known method of directly measuring the pressure of a volcano's magma chamber, indirect calculations of the type used by NRISDP are speculative and unverifiable. Other indicators suggestive of heightened eruptive danger, such as active fumaroles and recently discovered faults, are typical occurrences at this type of volcano. 58.